You tell yourself it's over, you replay the ending, you go back to the moment where everything changed, and you try to understand how something that felt so certain could suddenly become something you had to walk away from. And maybe you've done everything you were supposed to do. You gave it time, you created distance, you tried to move forward, you even convinced yourself that you've healed, at least enough to keep going. But then there are moments, quiet, almost unnoticeable at first, where something shifts, and without warning, they're there again. Not physically, not in a way you can explain, but in a way that feels just as real. It could be something small, a song, a scent, a place you didn't expect to mean anything, and suddenly it's like your mind opens a door you thought you had already closed, and you don't just remember them, you feel them. You feel the way they looked at you, the way their presence filled the space around you, the way something inside of you felt seen in a way you didn't even know you needed. And that's the part that stays, because you can forget words, you can forget conversations, you can even forget the details of how things ended, but you don't forget how someone made you feel when it was real, and what you had, whether it lasted or not, whether it made sense or not. It changed something in you. It shifted your understanding of connection. It rewrote your expectations. It showed you a version of love that didn't feel forced, didn't feel calculated, didn't feel like something you had to earn. It just existed. And when something like that enters your life, it doesn't leave you untouched. It leaves an imprint. Not a wound, not something broken, but something deeper, something that becomes part of you, something that quietly shapes the way you see everything after. And that's why forgetting them doesn't happen the way people say it should, because it was never just about them. It was about what you experienced through them. It was about the version of yourself that existed when you were with them. The version of you that felt open, alive, understood, and connected in a way that didn't require explanation. And even if life pulled you in different directions, even if circumstances made it impossible to stay, even if everything around you said it wasn't meant to work, something about it still feels unfinished, not in a way that keeps you stuck, but in a way that lingers, like a story that was paused instead of ended. And maybe that's because some connections aren't meant to be forgotten. They're meant to be felt, remembered, carried, and understood over time. Because what you're feeling now, this inability to fully let go, this quiet pull that still exists beneath everything else, it isn't weakness. It isn't you holding on to something that's gone. It's recognition. It's your soul acknowledging something that mattered, something that was real, something that changed you in a way that doesn't simply disappear just because time has passed. And sometimes that's all it is, a connection that came into your life, not to stay forever in the way you expected, but to awaken something in you that you can never unknow. But other times, it's something more, something still moving, still unfolding, still finding its way through timing, through growth, through everything that had to happen in between. Because not every love that leaves is gone, and not every connection that fades was meant to disappear. Some of them circle back. Some of them return when you least expect it, when you've become someone new, when they've become someone new, when the timing no longer works against you. And when that happens, it doesn't feel like starting over. It feels like remembering something you were always meant to come back to. So if you can't forget them, if they still cross your mind in ways that feel deeper than memory, if something about them still feels present even after everything, there's a reason. because some people don't come into your life just to be a moment. Some people come into your life to become a part of your story, whether that story is still unfolding or simply waiting for the